transformed in his gaze. I spoke about the two words parrhesia and prosopon, confidence and person, in the last reflection. Now I want to conclude this look at the second letter to the Corinthians by speaking about the other word I mentioned, metamorpho, which in this verse appears in the form metamorphumetha, first person plural, present indicative, middle, or passive. If you look closely at this word, I'm sure you already noticed how it is the foundation of the English word metamorphosis. I have translated it as transformed, and this seems to be the usual rendition, as transform is the Latin equivalent of the Greek metamorphe. The word in Greek is the combination of two things, a preposition and a noun, meta and morphe. The first, meta, means with or in company with, or, on the other hand, after or beyond, hence the philosophical term metaphysics, in other words, beyond physics. Morphe is a noun that refers to the form, shape, or inner reality of a thing. In their conjunction, they signify the reality of being changed in one's morphe, by being in contact with another, going beyond what it was before to something new. Thus, in the context of these verses in 2 Corinthians, the word metamorphumetha refers to our being changed from glory unto glory, into the likeness of the very image of God that we reflect. And this change occurs precisely through our loving proximity to that image, through our contemplation of the radiant face of Christ that bathes us in its light. What is the conclusion to draw from all of this? Well, there are many, but let me emphasize one in particular. Our true and ultimate transformation comes about not through our own efforts at self-discipline or growth in virtue, but through the inherent power of the light that pours forth upon us from the face of Christ. As essential as my own effort and goodwill are, ultimately it is not up to me to change myself, to metamorphose myself. It is truly impossible to self-perfect, as much as our culture, often even within the church, may tell us that it is exactly what we need to do. Our true perfection, the true flowering of our personality, comes about not through our own self-directed efforts, but through the ecstasy of loving contemplation in which we allow ourselves to be irradiated and transfigured by the very light pouring forth from the love of God, who ceaselessly looks upon us. Yes, it is in the light of his loving gaze alone that the inner potentialities of my heart created in God's image and likeness are set free. It is in my willingness to return into the orbit of this love, to enter into this face-to-face contemplation of God's love revealed in Jesus, that I am truly lifted up out of my isolation and sin and into the living relationship that transfigures my whole being in the very likeness of the Trinity. In other words, it is only through parrhesia, in the presence of God, made possible by his own sheltering and inviting love, that I can experience my authentic reality as a person, prosopon, my own unique personal beauty set free and made radiant in the image of God, in the sheltering embrace of the heart of Christ.